As most of you know, space is the enemy of us collectors, so I thought, you know what, why don't you collect 1/6 scale? That'll save you a lot of space. Right, Mr. X?
Oh, this is uncomfortable.
This is the Extreme Channel. My name is Mr. X, and we're all about high-end collectibles here, and we have another one in front of us. That's right, not only do we have another one, but it is an anime piece. I'm still going down that rabbit hole. Not only is it an anime piece, but it is my second piece from Figurama. Now, Figurama is a decently new studio. They came out a few years ago, and I actually nabbed their first piece. It's this one right here, the Devilman. And this is phenomenal. It's one of the best pieces ever done, in my opinion. It's actually in my top 10 favorite licensed pieces. I've never reviewed it. I will someday for you guys. And when I initially purchased through them, I had a horrid customer service experience the entire time. Thankfully, in the end, the product was delivered and it was fantastic. However, I kind of vowed, you know what, I'm not going to purchase from them anymore. Then their Attack on Titan piece was revealed. Check this out. And I had to purchase this one. However, I decided, you know what, I'm not going to go directly through Figurama. I'll go through somebody I've used before, somebody I trust, and that is Spec Fiction. So I went through Spec Fiction for that piece, and I believe it should be coming out in the next few months. And I recently picked up this piece from Spec Fiction as well. This is Hunter x Hunter, 1/6 scale. And you know how I butcher anime names. Get ready. Netero versus Meruem. And if you guys have been watching the channel, you know that I'm really interested in the anime statues just because they look badass. And I'm kind of going in reverse order. After I see the statue, I start researching the characters. Sometimes I get the information wrong. And sometimes I get hooked. Like Berserk, I'm actually reading through the mangas right now. Is that how you say it? Mangas? I don't remember. I especially don't like to pronounce stuff correctly. I also started watching the latest Hunter x Hunter on Netflix. Now, while these two characters haven't entered where I'm at yet, it's a pretty entertaining show. And from people that know this story really well, they say this is the most epic fight, not only in this series, but possibly in all of anime combined. So this piece comes from Spec Fiction as well. And recently, on some forums, there was some chat. Hey, Mr. X gets discounts or free pieces. That's right, every single piece that comes to this table is absolutely free. I'm just kidding. Or am I? No, in all seriousness, I'm pretty honest with you guys. I don't get discounts on pieces. I don't get free pieces. Am I offered that? Absolutely. Sometimes I am. However, I like to stay unbiased. But honestly, I have no dog in this fight. If I did get discounted, I would tell you guys. It wouldn't affect viewers. It wouldn't affect the channel. However, Todd at Spec Fiction is a friend of mine. So if you're interested in this piece, I actually will have a link below. It is not an affiliate link. It is just the link I copy and pasted from Spec Fiction's website. So a little bit of background. While I don't know these characters, I can tell you what I know about the series. So the series starts out with a highly capable boy named Gon. And when I say highly capable, I mean he's intelligent, he is athletic, and he wants to become a hunter because his father, who is missing from the scene, I haven't found out what happened to his father yet, was a hunter as well. And it's this secret guild that's extremely hard to get into. I'm about 4 or 5 episodes in, and they're still like on phase 1 of testing to get into the hunter guild. Once he's in the guild, from my understanding, the hunters hunt everything. They hunt monsters, they hunt outlaws, they hunt bounties, they hunt other hunters. And obviously, as you can see in this piece, there's a little bit of a, I don't want to say mystical or magical element, but there must be. I mean, look at this dude slapping him with 4 hands. So let's talk about that with concept. And as a reminder, since I haven't ran into these two characters yet, I don't know how accurate it is. So I actually will read something directly from Figurama's website so I don't get it wrong. But at the base here, we got a very museum-style base with a lot of ornate aspects to it. Some are symbols, some almost look like knight helmets, and it's done really well. We're going to talk about paint and sculpt later, but it's pretty cool, actually. And as you move up, you have 3 different big things going on the base. First is kind of this white smoke cloud substance, and I think that's what it is. It's almost an explosion because you see pieces of rock in it. You see it looks like smoke gathering up. And then also you see that giant gold hand, and then you see some other big gold hands in the back. And that's where we'll read the description right now. This is the cataclysmic duel between the 2 most powerful characters, Chimera Ant King Meruem and the Grand Master of the Shingen Ryu School of Kung Fu, Netero. Having exchanged over 1,000 blows in 1 minute, both combatants brace for a final decisive clash. Meruem rushes Netero with supersonic speed, deadly barbed stinger with bone-crushing hands prep for the kill, while the 12th chairman counters Meruem's vicious onslaught by activating his multi-armed 100 type whatever, I can't even read it, from the rocky pinnacle of the underground tomb. The battlefield explodes in a cloud of blinding debris beneath a giant 99th hand palm strike, revealing a Gunji board, symbolic of the Chimera Ant Arc's emotional climax and Meruem's special connection with something else I can't pronounce. So essentially, these two are the most powerful in that world. They just exchanged 1,000 blows in less than a minute, and they're about to have the final go down, the final blow. You can see everything blowing up around it. And like I said, even if you don't even know these two characters, or if you had no idea what Hunter x Hunter was, this is a cool looking piece. It really draws the attention because of the concept. This is what we call extremely dynamic, which means they're in an action pose. This is one of the most dynamic statues I've ever seen, which Figurama seems to be really big with that. They make these dios of anime pieces that are very dynamic, and it looks awesome. I like it a lot. So I'm going to give the concept, even though I don't know the source content, a 5 out of 5. You know, when I posted pictures of this on the Extreme Channel Facebook page, that's right, there is an Extreme Channel Facebook page. You can check out the link in the description below. Make sure you've liked that, and you can see pictures of stuff before it comes to YouTube, plus some exclusive content. And another way you can support the channel is try and win some free stuff. First, sometime during this video, go ahead and comment on this video. Once a month, we do a random drawing for 2 comments, and those people win gift packets sent to their house. We call them Extreme Prizes. The other one is we have a statue giveaway coming up. On our road to 20,000 subs, we are giving out this Mortal Kombat statue at 12,500 subs. All you have to do is make sure you've liked this video, you've subscribed to the channel, and you've hit that bell notification, and stay tuned for that giveaway. As you can imagine, with this type of engineering, design is crazy. So let's talk about the design, and let's start with the dimensions here, which are kind of hard to get because it's going out in so many different places. What's the front? What's the back? But we'll start with the highest point. That'll be easiest to figure out. Highest point is just over 29 inches. Base diameter is probably close to 18, but with everything sticking out, you're closer to about 24. And a lot, and probably even more on the depth. So this is going to command a lot of real estate. But let's take a look at how he came together. Giant shipper box, weighed almost 80 pounds, and it was beat to hell, so I didn't want to take it downstairs. Here's the top of the art box. I didn't look at any more, but I'm sure it's there. Classic Figurama straps, and it's etched into the foam. The logo is. Here is layer number 1. Most of the pieces. Layer number 2 was the base. And then here are all the different pieces actually laid out before assembly. Alright, so first thing you have going on, it's a pretty large base as you see. Pretty easy assembly. Then the rock part that juts out had a big key. You just had to make sure the direction was right. Of course, it had a pin to help support it because you're going to rest the master actually on this. And then the first large hand also keyed in right to the front. So this was pretty easy to figure out even if you didn't have directions to look at. And kind of the aura behind the master that keys in to that big rock. There's a key and a pin on that. And then the master comes, and his arms and head are not attached because there are 2 portraits we're going to look at in a minute. And let's key in the other character. I had a little issue with the angle trying to figure out what was correct, but it didn't take that long to figure out. And their portrait is also separate. Now this is where I ran into some issues. So I don't know what these are called, but the essentially the aura parts that come out and hold the hands, you can see them on the left side here. The first bottom one, the key was thicker than the hole, so I actually had to shave it down a little bit and just use some brute force strength, which, as you guys know, using brute force strength on a $1,000 statue is always highly not recommended. So it actually took me about 20 minutes going back and forth because I didn't want to break it. If you insert it too hard, it just will not go well.
That's what she said.
But for the purposes of the review, eventually I got it in enough. First it wouldn't go in it at all, but eventually I got it down to maybe a 1/8 of an inch, and I'll actually show a picture of that after this. So then inserting the other two on top, they all had unique keys, so it was pretty easy to differentiate which one went where, which is always nice. You ever notice that you do strange things with your face? If you guys haven't noticed, I usually get some weird tongue action going on while I'm assembling statues. For your enjoyment. See, there it is right there. And then the three hands. And the three hands were from largest to smallest, just keyed right in. The magnets were pretty strong, which was nice. Normally I would have a little bit of a worry because you have, you know, they're connected to something that's connected to the base. But here this seems pretty sturdy. I do have confidence it will hold up over time. And then the last part is the tail. Now with the tail, I actually thought I was missing a piece where the stinger is, which we'll talk about in a second. But pretty easy assembly, again, just keys right into the character, and I assume the engineering cuts were made to avoid breakages. And then last are his arms. Again, very strong magnets that pulled it really well. So big props to them on engineering, other than that one issue I had, but it is a fixable issue. I just need to scale it down a little bit more. There are two head switch outs for the Grandmaster as well. Take a look. So this is the one where his eyes are open. This is my favorite one. It's mid-fight. And initially I thought this is the only one that you should display because it's the only one that makes sense. Because check out this other one. His eyes are closed, which I thought this was really stupid until I started thinking about it. And it's like, you know what? He's meditating, he's harnessing his chi or whatever it is that he uses to make all these hands slap people. So a lot of props on the design for them. Everything looks great. And Figurama also did have a sealed packet. I didn't open it up inside because usually it's a COA and directions, and I don't use either. And if I ever do sell a piece, there's no sense in breaking the seal on that. So while the design's not perfect, I think it's extremely done well. It's a very ambitious piece. I think it's a 4 out of 5 on design. I think they could have used a few more head switch outs or arm switch outs that could have put it towards the top, especially with that little key issue I had. Now we're going to look at paint and sculpt on this guy, and he does not disappoint just like their other piece I have. So let's dive in. This base is crazy. So this sub base down below at the bottom, it's not needed, but it looks great. You have this gold trim around the bottom with all these ornate designs on the inside. It could be some type of writing. And then above that, this black swirly crap with the helmets and the gold diamonds in between and the gold diamonds on top with different symbols that they may tie to the game, and I'm just unaware of it. It looks great. The paint's very clean. I like the colors they used. It's a good contrast. It's not the same gold we're going to see as we move up. This cloud smoke looks great. Fantastically done. I like the color they used because it makes it look like a cloud of smoke that's mixed with the dust on the ground, with the browns and whites and yellows that they've really laid in here. And the sculpt is fantastic. Gives it this nice texture on the smoke itself, which makes you think that dirt's coming out through it. You see some of the rock pieces here and there. Really looks like a huge explosion of dirt. They did very, very well on that. And the big pillar that you have holding the master up there, it looks great. This rock texture and coloring and shading on it was done really well. You guys know I'm a big critic of concrete or asphalt type material. They got a 5 out of 5 on this. Really, really well done. Let's look at the gold hands. These I'm not a huge fan of. It looks like it's spray painted on, but this may be accurate. This may be what they were going for. it's just not for me. But if it's accurate, I think it's the way they should have went. And that all the hands are different positions, but I like how as you move up, they kind of get smaller. Cool addition to it. And I should have tried to find this fight on YouTube, see if there's a video of it. I'm sure there is. It would have given me a little bit more explanation, but I also like how the hands are in the same position as the master's hands. So let's look at him really quick. First, his skin tones look fantastic. They did a great job on the shading. There's these pinks and flesh tones in there, as long as almost some veins you can see. And the sculpt is unbelievable on this. It looks so good. It looks like a real human. He's very muscular. There's almost a glistening effect on a few places. Looks like he's in the midst of battle. And the rest of him, besides his arms and legs, look fantastic. I love the shirt, the clothing. It's sculpted on there. It looks like it's mixed media, even though it's not, which is fabric. Really well done. I mean, this guy is just top notch, and that includes his portrait. And it's funny, when I was looking at this, I thought I'd like the other character a lot more, but not the case. His portrait is perfect. It really is. It looks... The artist really just knocked it out of the park, and they did with the execution as well. Take a look at Meruem. I wish Meruem's face was a little bit more badass. We'll start there. Almost looks female. I don't know. I guess I don't know if Meruem's male or female, but Meruem here, the portrait kind of looks like something from A Bug's Life with the little helmet on it. Doesn't match the rest of the badassery on the body, but of course that's more of a character thing than a paint or sculpt, because the paint and sculpt on this is awesome. Again, very muscular. They have this mix of purples and blues and greens that work really well together, and tons of different shading in the greens. So that on top of the awesome musculature and the weird costume. The only thing I'm really not digging, and I assume it's accurate, is the tail. The tail just is off for me. The segments of it, I think the tail's too big, and then when it comes down to the back where the stinger is, I thought another piece was supposed to go there. While I don't like to read directions, I actually had to pull up some pictures on the internet to make sure that that was accurate. But the way they have him or her lounging in the awesome pose is just crazy. They did a great job with it. And last thing, let's look at like these aura effects that the hands are coming from. I kind of missed out on those. Same comments with the paint. It looks like it's sprayed on. Not a huge fan. The sculpt on it's okay. I think if they had made it, you know, if they had distinguished the tendrils or whatever you want to call the aura coming out a little bit differently, there would have been some breakage issues. So maybe that's why they did it as kind of one whole. But it looks good. As I said, this is only my second piece from Figurama, but it is phenomenal. It is really good. I have zero tie to these characters because I haven't ran into them yet, even though I am enjoying the series. But it's just a work of art. It's really beautiful. I actually have to give, I think I have to give the sculpt a 5 out of 5. I really do. It's really well done. The base, so many of the details are just killer. Regarding the paint, if you took out the gold hands and the aura effect, I think it would be perfect. So we'll give it a 4 out of 5 on the paint because it's done really well. The characters, the rest of the base, very impressive. Makes me want to buy more Figurama pieces. So really quick on value on this piece. Retail was around $850. Spec Fiction selling it for $1,100. That includes the shipping, which, as you saw with the box, it's a monstrous box. So that includes shipping and fee. So it's priced right at about retail. Normally, I would say $1,100 for a piece that has an edition size of 1,200. And it's a 1/6 piece? No way. But this is bigger than two 1/4 scale pieces combined. So I think the price is justified, especially when you look at how amazing the paint and sculpt and the concept is. With that being said, I don't think this will go up incredibly in value, but I think it'll always maintain the retail value based on some of their other pieces that I've seen. So overall, I think the value is very fair. It's really average. It's 3 out of 5, right in the middle. So overall, does this have the X factor? And this is where I'm really torn, because I think if I had a tie to the characters, my instant answer would be yes. But because I don't have that tie, I'm kind of on the fence. I think if you're a fan of this series, you would absolutely say this has the X factor. The paint proves it, the concept proves it, the sculpt proves it. So I think we do give this an X. We give this a 5 out of 5 statue. It's done fantastically. Very, very cool. Well done, Figurama. Seems like other than their Thor piece, that's the only piece I really see people trying to sell secondhand. Seems like they don't miss too much. And, you know, I always initially thought, well, their target audience isn't as big. It's probably bigger, actually. While traditionally I look at Marvel and movie-type pieces, There's a big market for these, and you know, they got Mr. X hooked into it. So thanks so much for watching, guys. Hit that Mr. X logo. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, I have a ton more anime stuff coming in. Check out some of these other playlists. But I really appreciate you watching, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Take care.